Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Field of 68's last call.
What's your go-to Applebee's order?
I don't go to Applebee's. We actually call it Crapplebee's, to be honest.
Who's the better team right now, Creighton, Marquette, or UConn?
What are you doing? What is that? Pray for fans. Oh, come on, Zach. Here we go. It's last call.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday evening edition of Last Call here on Stadium. My name is Rob Doster. That is Tyler Hansbrough, North Carolina legend. That is Jarrell McNeil, Marquette legend, and we are the Field of 68. We are here for the next 30 minutes. We are going to be answering your questions, so make sure you jump in the chat and fire away. It's been a wild night of college basketball, guys. So before we get asked any of these questions, I do want to just touch on a couple things. Let's start with this. Arkansas just finished off a win over Duke. The final score was 80-75. We called it when it was like a 15-point game with 2 minutes left, and Arkansas tried as hard as they could to give that thing away, but they made just enough free throws to be able to make sure we didn't ruin all of the content that we did over on the Field of 68 After Dark. So, Jarrell, let's start with you here, man. Coming off of losing 3 out of the last 4, the last time that they played in Button Walton Arena, they lost to UNC Greensboro at home. They didn't have Tremont Mark, who went for 34 against Tyler's Tar Heels. What do you make of this Arkansas performance tonight?
Oh man, it's obviously their biggest win of the season thus far, and just when every time we get ready to count out the Hogs, man, the must bust finds a way. He finds a way, man, and he gets it done tonight without his best player at home and against a really good team in Duke, man. And those guys showed up and showed out. They really committed defensively, and I think they did a good job offensively, just trying to attack Filipowski in pick and roll situations and just keeping the pressure on Duke to make sure that they were gonna have to score enough points to beat them. And they were able to hold on there down the stretch. But it's a huge quality win for those guys. And after not feeling great the last couple of games and losing 3 out of 4, they're right back kind of what they needed to be. They got the court storm celebration and everything, so I'm sure it'll be a good time tonight.
Oh yeah, I think we need to. If we had a private jet, we need to hop on and get to Fayetteville tonight, because I think that we would have a very good time down there calling the Hogs. Tyler, I think you're the perfect person to ask this next question to, because you are a North Carolina guy, so there are some inherent Duke biases involved there, and you also are now an avowed Arkansas. I'm going to call you an Arkansas homer. I'm just going to do it. I'm making you go all in on the Hogs here. So, did this performance say more about Arkansas and the must bus, or did it say more about your? Are you allowed to say Duke? By the way, can you say that word? Can you say Duke?
It's tough to get out. I will say this is to me an indication of how both seasons are going to go for both teams, and I say that because I think Duke hasn't really met the hype that they came into with this season. And we talked about it. Proctor really hasn't lived up to the expectations. Definitely not the expectations that the Field 68 put out on him. Second team All-American. But I do think that, like I said, Jeremy Roach to me is a guy who I think is going to be probably one of their best guards. And I think Jeremy Roach is a good player. Filipowski, we know what he can do, but they're going to have to lean heavily on those two big players, and Proctor's going to have to pick up his play at some point. But Duke hasn't met the hype, to me, what they received preseason. But I am a big believer in the Hogs. I do like this team. I know they've lost some games and they haven't played well. But I think they have the pieces. I think they have bodies. I think this Brazil kid, I've already hyped him up. He's to me a potential lottery pick. He's athletic. He's a mismatch on, every floor, every night in college. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to continue to get better. But also Mark. Mark can get out there and score and run. And they have the big who can block a lot of shots, buys in defensively. So I think that Muss is going to have this team gelling and going to continue to improve. And then we'll probably be giving them a lot of credit. I know they've lost some games, but I think they're going to turn it around.
And then you welcome everybody onto the bandwagon. I just want to know, Tyler, is Trevon Brazil, is he your Marquise Noel from last year? Is this going to be the guy that you hype up every night?
I'm not sure. Hey, I don't want to give him that type of credit right now because Noel was my guy and I loved watching him play. I'm gonna have to watch a little bit more Brazil, but he's headed in that direction. I'm not sure. He's gonna have to win more games and hit big shots for me to give him that type of credit. Noel's my guy.
All right, so let's go from one blue blood in Duke to the other two blue bloods that we've seen play in the last two nights. Kentucky beat Miami 95-73 on Tuesday night in the ACC SEC Challenge, and then North Carolina tonight put up 100 on the number one defensive team on KenPom, Tennessee, in Chapel Hill tonight. Jarrell, who was the most impressive blue blood? Was it North Carolina? Was it Kentucky? Jarrell.
Can't hear you guys. Hold on one second.
All right, Tyler, can you take that one?
Yeah, I will take that. To me, it's no question. It's North Carolina, and I will say that North Carolina, to me, when I look at these games, especially the past few games, I think a big issue has kind of been their starts. I don't really think they came out, especially against UNI. They had a bad start. They no-showed pretty much Villanova, but they've gotten off to some rough starts. But they've always played well at home. And I want to see them play well the way they did tonight on the road at a tough away environment before I'm really buying in. And but I do like Cadeau. I think we talked about it. 10 assists, 0 turnovers. That's extreme growth, and that is a player that this team has needed the past couple years. Is a guy who can really distribute, get out, push the ball, get everybody involved. But also, to me, why this win was so impressive is because Baycott kind of had a redemption game. He hasn't played well the past few games. Averaged 9 points the past 3 games. It drops, I think, 22 tonight. Has a great game tonight. And also Harrison Ingram. And he's been a guy who's been the best addition to this team because he gives them a lot of different lineups. You can go small with him. He can guard 2 through 5. So that's why they're the most impressive. But Kentucky, they did play well against Miami, but also Miami played really bad. And so we've talked about that. I'm not sure if it's Kentucky played really well or Miami played really bad. And Kentucky's full of freshmen. They're going to figure it out. I do think they'll see a lot of growth. Their shooting has been a little sporadic, but Reed Shepherd caught fire in the second half. He's going to be a guy who can continue to put up points and make buckets. So Kentucky is improving, but it's not even question. North Carolina is a much more impressive team based off of the past couple of days in the Blue Bloods.
You agree, Jarrell?
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna disagree and I'm gonna say I think Kentucky's been a little bit more impressive. Sorry, we were on the road there for a while, Tyler, but I got to jump off of the bandwagon here. The Kentucky is they're an explosive team. They're an explosive team, and I get it, man. They're young, they're inexperienced, and there's obviously going to be some growing pains, and they're kind of going to have to get thrown in the fire a little bit here, man. But God, just watching them early on this year when they get it rolling, because they don't always have it rolling, and to be honest with you, they don't always shoot it great. They're shooting it great overall in totality right now for the year, but man, they don't always shoot it great. But once they catch fire, man, look out. They play fast, they play hard, they get out and they push the ball with pace, and they got some nice pieces, man. Mitchell is really good for them as well too. He's able to do some special things for them. Just imagine what they're gonna look like when they get Bradshaw back. I think they're the most impressive team right now, man.
Yeah. So Tyler, I am going to agree with Jarrell, but I'm going to add one qualifier in there. I had higher expectations for North Carolina coming into. I thought that this is what we would see from them all season long. So I'm a little bit more impressed with Kentucky because I was down on them coming in. I will tell you this: December 16th in Atlanta, the CBS Sports Classic, North Carolina taking on Kentucky. That's going to be an unbelievable basketball game. Listen, jump in the chat, ask us questions. We'll answer them on the other side of the Welcome back to Last Call here on Stadium. My name is Rob Doster. I have with me Jarrell McNeil. I have with me Tyler Hansborough, and we are the Field of 68. And we are here for the next 20 minutes to answer your questions. So jump in the chat, fire away, because we're going to answer anything as long as it doesn't get us in any trouble. You know, I might let Jarrell get in a little bit of trouble. I might let Tyler get in a little bit of trouble. I'm going to cover my own ass here, though, guys. So that's what we got going here for the next 20 minutes. So let's get right into it. We're starting with a question from Bradley. Which conference, Jarrell, did the ACC SEC challenge matter more for? Was it the ACC or the SEC?
I'm gonna say the ACC, and I'm probably a little bit biased or looking at it a little bit differently, just because that was like when we were in school, that was probably the second best conference outside of the Big East at the time. Yeah, I think this really mattered for them. I think the ACC needed a really good showing, and they were off to a hot start, and things look like they're kind of balancing out here a little bit. I'm not sure what the total tally is, but they had some teams that we had some question marks about going into this challenge that hadn't really played a lot of other quality teams. So I think we kind of got some answers here.
Yeah, it finished tied, Tyler. It was 7-7. Who did it matter more for? Was it the ACC? I think it was the ACC.
I don't think it's close. I think the ACC, especially some of the hype that the SEC has gotten, I think last show we kind of put them as the second best conference in basketball after the Big East, I think. But yeah, I think it mattered for the ACC because a lot of people would consider the ACC top heavy. I think you have Carolina, you have Duke, you have Miami, and then after that you might say Virginia. But also I think, people forget that Clemson, to me, is kind of a sleeper in the ACC. They went over, I think, to Alabama and kind of, got a big win there. I think a lot of people are underestimating Clemson. The PJ Hall kid is an unbelievable player if you haven't seen him play. And I'm big on fifth-year players. I think he's a veteran player that can do a lot of different things. But I don't think ACC gotten the credit, and we've kind of hyped up the SEC role with the ACC.
Well, I'll tell you this. I get texts every single day from Terrence Oglesby about Clemson. So I know just how good they are. In fact, my guess is I probably think they're better than anybody else does because this dude wears me out with it. All right. I'm going to handle this next question from James. It is, how the hell was Dalton Connect at Northern Colorado for 2 years? So I reached out to a buddy of mine named Brandon Goebel, from Verbal Commits, who was actually involved in some of that recruitment because he started at a junior college. So when Dalton was in high school, he was like 6 foot, and then he started growing, and it took him a little bit of time to kind of develop into his body and figure out how how to move once he put on that growth spurt. So he ended up going to a junior college outside of Denver because that is where his family is from. So he wanted to stay close to home because he didn't realize, maybe he wasn't going to end up being who he was here. And then after his second year in junior college, the only places that recruited him were Drake and Northern Colorado. So he decided to stay close to home because he is from the Denver area. So that's how he ended up at Northern Colorado for 2 years. I think it's probably more than anything else, just a fact that maybe people don't trust the level of talent that is coming out of junior colleges sometimes, and maybe that's not necessarily fair. All right, Tyler, this question is coming from Kyle. What is more likely? North Carolina makes the Final Four, or North Carolina loses in the first weekend of the NCAA tournament?
I think it's more likely. Man, I can't hate on my Tar Heels. I think it's more Final Four. I think last year, with after the year they had last year and not playing in a postseason tournament and kind of not meeting expectations, I think a lot of players will remember that, especially R.J. Davis and Armando Bacot. I think they're two premier players in college, but also the addition we have veteran players, Cormac Ryan, who is a guy he's 25, been in college forever. But those veteran guys to me are very, very important for tournament runs. And the Harrison Ingram addition, I think this team is more likely to make a Final Four than get beat in the first round of the tournament. But it's tough to say that confidently because we've got to play two halves of a basketball game before I feel too confident about that one.
Jarrell, do you agree?
I'm with you on this one, Tyler. I think it's more likely that they make it all the way, and I think they got all the pieces, man. Right now, watching those guys, what are they really missing? They can go inside, they can go outside. They have dynamic guards, they got shooters. They pretty much got everything. And like I said, as long as those guys are locked in and they stay connected and they guard and find somebody to stop people on the perimeter, man, they got a shot to make a deep run. So I'm saying it's more likely that they end up. Where we at this year? Arizona?
Yep.
Final Four is in Arizona this year? Yeah. Nice. You can meet the Golden Eagles there. We'll make a good time of it.
Hey, that'd be a fun game, man. That'd be a fun game. We'd have a little bit of rivalry. Maybe we can get a little bit of a pickleball tournament going beforehand on the Sunday before the national title game when North Carolina plays Marquette. We got Tyler and Jarrell facing off in pickleball to see.
You a pickleball guy too, Tyler?
Yes.
Love that. I'm kind of having some connection problem, but I'm all in for some pickleball. You guys want to bring the pickleball?
Oh, okay.
The Final Four. I'm there.
Tyler is definitely a pickleball guy. All right, so I'm going to go the other way. I think it's more likely that North Carolina loses in the first round because I think it's a lot easier to have one bad day, bad night, whatever, one off shooting afternoon than it is to put together four impressive wins. So that's just a simple math problem to me. I think every single team in the country is more likely to lose in the first weekend than they are to make a run to the Final Four. Maybe that's a cop out. All right, Jarrell, who's the one team that no one is talking about right now that they should be talking about?
That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm gonna go the one team that nobody's talking about right now. Let's go Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners, and I think they just made an entrance into the top 25. Porter Moses got those guys playing some good basketball right now. They had a big win not too long ago, I want to say, against USC on the tip-in finale, man. But they've got it rolling a little bit. Let's see if they could kind of sustain that. They'll have opportunity to get tested and get some big wins in Big 12 play too.
Tyler, you got something for me quickly?
I'm going to go James Madison. They're a team that, first of all, they're undefeated. They have a lot of veteran players. No one really talks about them because they're in their Sun Belt right now. But they're one of these teams, just like San Diego State, FAU last year, could spot on and be another team that comes and runs through the tournament. Veteran guys, a team that has grown together and played a lot together. So I put a lot of stock in them.
I am going to go with the Liberty Flames and it is 100% because
I like it.
they're going to be in the field of 68 tip-off starting tomorrow. But you know what? They are damn good. They are 6-0 to
Hey,
beat Charlotte, Furman, Wichita State, and Vermont. Listen, jump in the chat. Ask us more questions. We are going to be answering them. We're going to have 8 minutes left as soon as we come back from break. Fire away at us. Welcome back to Last Call here on Stadium. My name is Rob Doster. I have with me Tyler Hansbrough. I have with me Jarrell McNeil. We are the field of 68. And I'll tell you what, guys, regardless of whether or not Louisville shows up with the right pairs of tights, I am always going to be here ready to perform. I'm like Tyler Johnson, man. I'm ready. I'm out here. I am getting buckets nonstop. We are answering your questions here on Last Call for about the next 8 minutes. So we're going to start with this. Tyler, it's another North Carolina question from Jeff. So you know I got to come to you on this one. Is Harrison Ingram the best transfer addition in the ACC? I think you've already answered this, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say so far, and I think he's had more of an impact for Carolina than any other transfer, obviously. But I think the way he's playing right now has surprised a lot of people. I mean, he's at times we're giving him post ups and he's backing people down for jump hooks, and then he's hitting open threes and taking people off the dribble. He's doing a little bit of everything for us. So to me, it's not even close. I think Harrison has been the best ACC.
Jarrell, you
Yep.
got anyone better?
Yep, I agree. No, I can't think of anybody that's had a bigger impact. Just like Tyler said, the guy's going inside, outside. He's able to stretch the floor. You can't just leave him alone on the 3-point line. He's really good for their spacing. Man, just a matchup problem, man. And it seems like he fits seamlessly in with those guys that were already there in North Carolina and all the new guys, the freshmen.
Yeah, the only other one that I'll throw out there, because I think that he's a perfect fit for the role that he's being asked to play, is Joe Girard at Clemson. Brad Rennell's been screaming out for a guy that he could just kind of run off screens and let fire away. And Joe Girard's been screaming for a place that could get him in a little bit more structure. So I love that fit right there. I think Harrison Ingram's probably a better basketball player overall. All right, Jarrell, I'm going to you first on this one. It's kind of a tough one, man. It's how patient should Villanova fans be with Kyle Neptune?
Oh man, we back to this already, huh?
Yeah, one
seems
loss.
like
You go out, you beat North Carolina, you beat Memphis by 35, and then you lose to your rival. We're ready to fire him already, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's back on the schneid, but he I think you gotta take a page out of Aaron Rodgers' book, and everybody just the Villanova fans gotta relax a little bit, man. And obviously things like this, the way that he's built this team for this season, they're gonna have sporadic spurts where they're not playing well. These guys they don't have the built-in chemistry. These guys haven't known each other forever. They haven't been playing with each other for years. outside of the guys that were already there. They just got to have a little bit of patience, man, and kind of just let him do his thing. And I'm sure he'll run off another handful of really big wins, and all to be well out in Philly again. So, but I think they got to be patient. They got to relax and be patient, and let the guy just try to do his job.
I actually have an interesting thought on this, and tell me what you think about this, Tyler. The games that they played their best in were against the likes of Memphis and North Carolina and some of these like big brands power conference programs. Where they struggled were in these rivalry games against smaller teams in Philadelphia. So my question to you, is this just the product of like you got a bunch of new faces here that maybe don't understand the nature of what the St. Joe's Villanova rivalry actually is and what it should be in the St. Joe's pen and what that Big Five rivalry actually is?
Well, yeah, if you lose your rivalries, I mean, the passionate fans are going to be upset about it. And I also think people have to understand that, you can't just fire a coach and expect another coach to just come in and turn it around just like that. It takes time. And this team is, full of transfers. And so I think one aspect you got to, think about is, hey, this team's going to be a little sporadic at times. And we discussed that. But he has this team rolling against the best teams in college. They will figure it out against these smaller teams, and these in-town rivalries will come. And also, you got to understand that these other teams, they're super pumped up to play against Vanilla, especially St. Joe's crosstown rival. So a lot of times, the rankings and the hype when you're playing a rivalry, it doesn't matter. And so, I think they should be a little patient. Obviously, it's going to have a drop off from Jay Wright. I mean, one of the best college coaches out there. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
All right, so we got one question left here. It's from James. As I mentioned, the Field of 68 tip-off is going to be in Boca Raton at Florida Atlantic. We're going to have pregame shows at 5:30 on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings, and we're going to have post-game shows after dark, 11 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. It's going to be me, Jeff Goodman, Matt McCall, and Chris Mack. Guys, give me a quick answer. Who's going to be the guy from that crew that is slacking off the most when we're down there on the beach in Florida? Jarrell, who's it going to be?
I think it's Goodman, no brainer. It's a no brainer. And I know I'm new, but damn, I like Boca Raton. That sounds good right now instead of Chicago. But you guys have fun.
Tyler, who's going to be slacking real quick?
I'm going to go Mac. After the story you told us in the Bahamas, I'm going to have to roll with him. I can't get over that one. So
it's 100% going to be back, man. We're going to find him. He's going to be deep sea fishing there. Listen, this has been the last call. We are the Field of 68. We are live over here on Stadium right now. Every night, midnight on Stadium on the YouTube. That's where we'll be. Last call.